So on this big day of the big anniversary in the history of the American space program, with us a true American hero, Buzz Aldrin, one of the two men who were the first to set foot on the moon. Neil Armstrong came down the ladder first, then Buzz Armstrong. And I understand, Buzz, you went to the White House today and talked to President Obama.
Yes, we did.
What did you talk about?
Well, I mostly listened. I deferred to the commander who was standing next to the president, and it just wasn't an opportunity for me to offer thoughts about the future, to make particular comments.
But I know you have been very outspoken in saying where we ought to go next in space.
That's correct.
You think we ought to go to Mars. Why so?
I think we ought to do what we need to do to exhibit U.S. global space leadership. And that I don't think would be accomplished by the present path of expensive 2 rockets to get us to the moon as soon as possible without distractions. That means sacrificing things because of the cost that right now is involved in developing these 2 rockets, which I think we would have done much better with 1 medium-sized rocket rather than 2.
Buzz, let me just ask you the basic question. Here the deficit for the United States government is just getting bigger and bigger by the minute. I mean, we blink our eyes and it's grown another $1 trillion or something. Give me the best case as to why we should spend money on trying to go to Mars when other people will say, look, we got so many problems at home and so many bills to pay, we just can't afford it. Why is this a good idea?
We spent a lot of money stimulating the economy. We have not spent very much stimulating the high technology leadership in aerospace that we did in the 60s and 70s. 3.5–4% is what we spent to be able to get us to the moon. 0.5% is now what we are inadequately spending to carry out what we committed the nation to do. Do we want to stay in Earth orbit and watch the Chinese and the Indians land on the moon? There's a Russian spacecraft called Phobos Grunt, designed, ready to take off in October of this year. It'll probably have to be delayed 26 months because of funding. But on that spacecraft that's going to go to Mars is a Chinese satellite that's going to fly around Mars. The mission is a sample return from the moon of Mars, Phobos, back here. The Russians clearly have their mission set on Mars. Sure, we've had rovers on the surface, but they're training people in isolation, eventually for 500 days in isolation, to get together, to see if they're compatible. They're doing that only because they intend to try and get to Mars.
That's well stated, and that's certainly the best explanation I've seen for that side of the argument. Before we leave you, Buzz, we want to tell people that you have a new book out called Magnificent Desolation. Buzz Aldrin writes it, and it is a good part of this book, your story of coming back from the moon in a way, and it's been quite a story.
That's correct. The words I used, seeing the magnificent achievement of creatures from the world getting to the moon and the utter lifelessness and desolation of the moon. Those were my words on the surface of the moon. And in a metaphorical way, it was a magnificent peak of my career at that time. And I had to deal with discouraging times and plans and depression, alcoholism, and I'm back on the road again to create what I think could be an even more magnificent challenge to the American people by the leader of our nation.
All right, Buzz Aldrin, On the Road Again, the space version of the old Willie Nelson song. Thank you very much, Buzz.
Thank you, Bob.